Hello. Let's see. All right. We are getting set up here. Let's see. Okay. All right. That should be on Instagram. All right. And now over here with this camera. All right. Oh boy. Lots of moving pieces today. How's everyone doing this evening? Had a good weekend, I hope. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Hello, Tanya. Let's see. All right. So we are live here on Instagram, YouTube, and for the first time ever, TikTok. We are live on TikTok. Uh, and hopefully Facebook. Hopefully that's one's working. And a new one I'm also trying today is LinkedIn. So let me give another minute or two to give people a chance to get in if they would like. I've got a lot of things to talk about today with you. A lot of advice and tips to share. All right, we've got a few of you here then. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, what we are going to discuss, exciting, difference, terrifying, choose an adjective, news. Last week, Disneyland announced two important things that will no longer be available next year, starting next year, at the Disney operated hotels in Disneyland, California. So first off, what is it? I feel like I'm hearing about it all over the place, but I follow a lot of other Disney people. So if you don't, perhaps I am the first you are hearing of it. So in the past, a huge perk, just huge perk, for staying at one of the three Disneyland hotels, the Grand Californian, the Disneyland Hotel, or the Pixar Place Hotel. The huge perk was getting into the park 30 minutes, or it used to be an hour, 60 to 30 minutes earlier than any other guests with tickets. If you ever did rope drop, which just means getting there right as it opens, being in the park, and then being let go to your first ride, you may have noticed if you were there on an early entry day, there was usually a cast member holding a sign that said hotel guests or early entry this way. And that was the way the hotel guests of the three Disneyland hotels went to get in early. That perk is being discontinued as of January 4th, 2026. So from now until January 4th, you can still book one of the 3 Disneyland hotels, stay there, and get this early entry perk. And you can get into Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday is California Adventure. You'll get 30 minutes uh, prior to park opening in California Adventure. Then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is Disneyland Park. You get 30 minutes there as well. Up until January, there it is, there it is, there it is, January 4th, 2026. After January 4th, 2026, after that date, that perk will no longer be offered. So that's the main thing. Let me just hop on the other thing really quick because I totally understand it. The other announcement was for the newly reimagined Pixar Place Hotel, there was a special separate entrance kind of to the side of the Grand Californian Hotel where those guests, really any hotel guests, but they were aiming it at the Pixar Place hotel guests. That entrance is as of the same time frame up until January 4th. You can use it after starting January 5th, 2026. You can no longer use that entrance. If you don't know where it is, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Disney did say the reason was because it was underutilized. In fact, it often closed in the middle of the day or became an exit only instead of an entrance and an exit. So, and honestly, it was hard to find. If you weren't like me or, one of your other influencers or constantly at the park type people, you probably had no idea it exists because even when you're in the park, you wouldn't even notice it. It's like seriously hidden. It's seriously hidden. So if you didn't know about it, don't worry about it. Um, that I totally understand. That area too is gonna become a backstage area once they start working on those new rides for Disneyland expansions that were announced last year at D23. So no big deal, totally understand why that's happening. But going back now to the early entry perk, in my opinion, uh, this is a little hard to hear because that was my favorite reason, only reason for staying on property. Um, Granted, no one like on earth, practically, basically, no one does customer service and experiences the way the Walt Disney Company does. So, staying at the Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, or Pixar Place, um, you cannot beat that experience. It's a great, amazing experience. Uh, the theming is fantastic. The history that you can find at the Disneyland Hotel is just amazing. If you are a history buff plus a Disney nerd, or just either of the two, Disneyland Hotel is a great, great place to get some of that history. It's amazing. Um, but that early entry is really amazing. So let's talk about, I'm gonna go directly to the Disneyland website right now, and I'm gonna read you directly from the Disneyland website the perks of staying on site at a Disney uh operated hotel out in California, right? All right, so I'll tell you where I am. So if you want to find this information as well, you can. I'm at disneyland.disney.go.com /hotels-overview. So And you can find it if you go to the Disneyland website, click on, there's a drop-down menu, places to stay, and then over on the right-hand side, as part of like the featured, uh, they have some featured why stay at a hotel of the Disneyland Resort. So that's where I am. About middle of the page, they have us subheading extra special perks. So, first off, their first perk that they're advocating here on the Disneyland website is theme park perks. And if you click that, it says stay at a Disneyland Resort hotel and delight in special benefits. Prior to January 5, 2026, you get your 30-minute early entry. Then starting January 5th, 2026, guests who are checked in and staying at one of the Disneyland Resort hotels can take advantage of one Lightning Lane entry to a Lightning Lane multi-pass attraction during their resort stay. So they're replacing 30 minutes of early entry with one Lightning Lane entry. Not one per day, one per trip. So let's say if you're coming from Australia or the UK, and you're staying for 10 days, 2 weeks, they're going to give you one Lightning Lane per person. Just one. And that and not for one of the extra paid ones. There are two separate rides currently at Disneyland: Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Radiator Springs Racers, the Cars ride. And you have to pay extra for those to get a Lightning Lane. They are not included in the standard Lightning Lane pass. So this is not saying that. It's gonna be like your multiple experience pass, which is like you can use it for Space Mountain, Incredicoaster, Toy Story Mania. Still some good rides, but you can't even use it on one of the like top tier rides. So that's disappointing. It's really disappointing. All right, moving on. Next special perk, activities and celebrations. At select times during the year, Disneyland Resort Hotel guests can experience special activities and seasonal events, some with a Disney character. Offerings may be complimentary or require a fee. So that's a perk. That's considered a perk, but it may not be free. And honestly, I have stayed a few times at the Disneyland Resort hotels, and the only thing that I can think of, please, if you're watching right now in the chat, in the comments, let me know if you've seen anything like this, if you've stayed at one of the hotels. But the only thing I can think of is Bing Bong in the lobby at Pixar Place. That's the only thing I can think of that is included there. But that's not a perk of staying at that hotel. You can exit the park or not even enter the park. You can just go park at Pixar Place Hotel, go in the lobby and see Bing Bong. It's not exclusive to staying there. So I'm a little fuzzy on what they're considering the perk being there. Next is access to theme parks. Enjoy convenient access to theme park entrances. You may already know, inside of the Grand Californian, there is a separate entrance to California Adventure, which is a nice perk, but is that enough to make me stay there? Not quite, but that does exist. However, since they're taking away that other entrance For Pixar Place, neither Pixar Place nor the Disneyland Hotel will have a special entrance now. They can use the Grand Californian private entrance. A lot of people are confused on that point, but I can tell you from personal experience, I have done it during my stays there. And they may limit it at certain times of year, like Christmas when they're really busy. But using that entrance is available to all Disneyland Resort hotel guests. Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, Pixar Place, they can all use the Grand Californian private entrance to uh, California Adventure. Uh, Even regular park ticket holders can use that entrance and exit. I've done that a lot of times, especially if I'm looking to take a break for lunch and I'm going into, say, Hearthstone Lounge or the Craftsman Grill. I'll just exit right there. They have no problem with that. No one, like, again, this seems like they're saying it's a perk, but it's kind of available to everyone. Next line, charge to room. So, Disneyland saying when you stay at a Disneyland hotel, you can charge your purchases to the room. Okay, that's cool. I suppose that's a perk. But a lot of high-end hotels do that as well. So, uh, not something I'm really looking for when uh not something I'm looking for when I'm comparing hotels. So, uh, anyway, and the last perk, direct from the Hotel Disneyland website, direct to room service, uh, meaning you can use online check-in, and there is a way to use your phone as your key to your room, which we have used that as well. That is kind of cool, not to have an extra, plastic card to carry around. Uh, but again, not something that's gonna sway me to stay there over someplace else. So that's the list of current perks at the collection of three Disneyland resort hotels. Uh, what do you think? To me, those are normal perks, normal amenities. All right, so let's talk about cost now. If you're looking at a Disneyland resort hotel, let's see. Casey says, I used to stay at Disneyland Hotel and Paradise Pier Hotel all the time when my kids were really little. I wish I could afford it now with the huge price increases. Let's talk about the price. Yes, Casey, let's talk about the price. So, as part of my research here, again, I'm going to read you directly from the website. Part of my research for this chat with you is I looked up the cost for a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children, ages 8 and 11. I just randomly chose that. For 2 nights in late January after these changes will have taken place. So, direct from the Disneyland website, Pixar Place Hotel will cost $456 per night. Disneyland Hotel would cost $577 per night, and the Grand Californian coming in at a whopping $740 per night. So, expensive properties, super expensive properties to stay at um, with fairly normal perks. Now, we already commented on I'm a big believer in the Disney magic and the Disney level of customer service and experiences. I do think that is worth something. But in my opinion, particularly in Anaheim, uh, the hotels that are surrounding Disneyland, especially when they're super close, like the ones across the street down Catella and Harbor, they're doing the best they can to compete with Disney, right? Because they know there's only three hotels. Really, they're competing with each other more than they're competing with Disney. But they're keeping their service as top notch as possible because they are, um, they're near Disney. So, um, in Florida, there's much more of this bubble, um, experience, right? You stay at a Disney World hotel and you're in a Disney bubble, right? But in Anaheim, that's not quite, in California, it's not quite the same. So, my opinion, let's go back to comparing those costs. For the same 2 nights, as a refresher, we said Pixar Place was over 400, Disneyland over 500, and Grand Californian over $700 per night. Looking at my travel partner's website, Getaway Today, the top 3 most expensive hotels are right across the street, but they are all less than 300 a night for those same dates at the end of January for a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children. So that's Best Western plus Park Place Inn, Best Western plus Anaheim Inn, and Fairfields Inn Anaheim Resort. All of those are right across the street. Excuse me. Also, Grand Legacy at the park, under $300 a night. Camelot, Tropicana, Howard Johnson, all under $300 a night. So, especially considering Disneyland Hotel and Pixar Place, how far you have to walk from those properties, those hotels, to the front gates at Disneyland, you're walking farther actually than these top 3, 4 hotels that are on Harbor. Plus, they're less money. So was that? I think Disney making this announcement is a huge opportunity for the off-property hotels in Anaheim to really step up their game. If they offer just one extra amenity in January, they're going to be killing it, I think. If they need to really start getting their marketing teams to work on this, because this is a huge opportunity for them. Also, at the let's see, was it I think it was last year, but after every you all know after COVID things get fuzzy and run together, but I think it was just last year. The Disney Vacation Club aspect of the Disneyland Hotel opened. So the Discovery Tower inside Disneyland Hotel is a DVC property. And what that is, excuse me, DVC, Disney Vacation Club, is Disney's version of a timeshare. It works a little bit different, but same sort of concept. And the rooms there come with a little bit more for an extended stay. Like the smallest room has a microwave and fridge and dishwasher and uh wait, no, there's no dishwasher in the studio. But anyway, it's built for longer stays, for more of the family to come, more space. Um, and DVC started in Florida, and DVC is can be, I'm not saying for everyone, but it can be a great investment for families who visit Florida. Uh, it's been tricky though in California. They don't take care of the DVC members as well out in California. Just 2 years ago, the lounge opened up in Disneyland, in what used to be Star Wars Launch Bay, which what used to be Carousel of Progress. But on the second floor in there, they've now created a lounge space for DVC members. But now taking away the early entry perk and giving DVC members just one lightning lane, um, that's a hard sell on that newly opened property. I mean, you're getting so much more being a DVC member in Florida. I mean, you're treated so great over there. You're acknowledged everywhere. You have discounts and perks everywhere. And in California, not so much, not so much. So that feels like, as far as Disneyland goes, that feels like a big kind of slap in the face for the DVC members. But what could there be hope, light at the end of the tunnel, hope on the horizon? Um, as Lou Mangello, WDW Radio out in Florida, loves to say, choose the good. So I'm sure Disney did their research, they did their focus groups, etc. Um, having stayed there, I know that was my favorite perk, but I know when I did use it, I know there were plenty of people in the hotels that were not lining up for early entry. So my guess, this has not been confirmed by Disney, but my opinion, my guess is it was being underutilized. So they're getting rid of it. But what I think that means is they're working on something else that they're going to help us, not help us, but they're going to give to us. They're going to present with us. Um, and I was, as I said, in my research for our chat today, I did watch several other influencers and creators who are talking about this. And I 1,000% agree with Kelly from We Don't Wear Ears. And she said, what does Universal have? Universal Hollywood, you pay 20, 25 bucks and you get an hour of early entry, an hour in the morning, before the park opens to general ticket holders, of park time. You get to go into Super Nintendo World for a whole hour, and you can ride. We did that the one last year. It was our first trip to Universal Hollywood in like 20 years for my husband and I, and Super Nintendo World was only like a year old. So we were like, yeah, we want to get in there and see all the good stuff and, have that extra time. So, and it's cheap, 20, 25 bucks for an hour. That's pretty good. So we did that. I think we were able to ride the Mario Kart race ride twice in that hour, plus play some of the games. We didn't meet, but saw some of the characters. So I would think, my guess, again, not speaking for the Walt Disney Company, but my conjecture, my guess, my opinion is that we will next year sometime we will see an option for paid access to the park before it opens. That's what I think. And if they price it well, I think they can make some good revenue with that. After all, the Walt Disney Company is a business, right? So, but we do rely on them to make the magic too. But if it's reasonably priced like Universal is, I would have no problem paying that. But I also, that's my opinion. I also am one that has no problem paying for the lightning lanes. Um, I've dealt with various health impediments and issues over the years. So, paying a little extra money so I don't have to stand in line quite so long is always something that's important to me, just so that it helps me mitigate any health concerns I might be having while on vacation. So, I know that doesn't work for everyone. So, um, but if that's not something that's going to work for you, staying at one of the Disneyland hotels is also probably not something that's going to work for you. So, different audiences for different things. um, do I think this change will come to Florida? No, absolutely not. Why? Again, Universal just opened Epic Universe and they've got early entry out at Universal. So I I don't think anything will be changing in Disney World as far as early entry. Disney World also has extended evening hours for um, deluxe hotel guests. Um, those they've played with a little bit. So I'm not sure how well attended those are be. That might be a change, but early entry, I really don't think will be going anywhere. So I think the change is really only going to affect California. We shouldn't be expecting any big news out of Florida about early entry. So what do I think about where you should stay then? Um, who do I think is going to be staying at the Disneyland Resort hotels now? I think it's going to be people that have the money and just don't really care. They want a certain experience, whether that's perceived value or actual value. They want that at a Disney operated hotel, so they're going to go there. I think that's for people also that aren't doing their research. So, people with money to burn, maybe. I do think there might be a certain set of circumstances where splurging on a stay there could be a great idea. But I think the better option is going to be to go stay across the street. Or if you're looking for a luxury experience, let's review the luxury hotels available to you in Anaheim that are not far from the Disneyland Resort. First off, again, I'm looking straight at the websites. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of something here. All right. All right, let's see if that helps. Uh last year, visitanaheim.org made an entirely separate page on their website dedicated solely to luxury experiences, food, restaurants, events, hotels. You can find that obviously at visitanaheim.org. And they name last year, let me say this, last year they named 4 hotels, luxury hotels near Disneyland. The Viv, the Westin, JW Marriott, and Hyatt Regency Orange County. plus the Grand Californian and the Disneyland Hotel. But I'm not counting those right now since we already discussed those. So in addition to the Disney hotels, Visit Anaheim named those four hotels as luxury hotels. Now, when I checked today, August 25th, 2025, Hyatt Regency Orange County was no longer listed as a luxury property on visitanaheim.org's website. So that leaves us with the Viv, the Westin, and the JW Marriott. Guess what all three of these properties have in common? They are all owned, all three, they're all owned by Marriott. So Marriott kind of has a monopoly on luxury in Anaheim right now. And some of you other hotel brands might want to pay attention to that and step up. So again, same two dates at the end of January 2026 for family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children. The Viv comes in at $165 a night. JW Marriott comes in at $298 a night. And the Westin comes in at a whopping $302 per night. And we said Pixar Place, the cheapest of the 3 Disneyland hotels, was how much? Do you remember? $450 per night. So you can get an amazing amount of luxury in Anaheim for your Disneyland trip staying off property. Because let me tell you, the Westin bed, they call it the heavenly bed because it is heavenly. Like, seriously, that is the best bed I've ever slept in. I know Casey at Disneyland Daily and SoCal Daily, she actually has told me many times, she and her husband bought that bed after they stayed at a Westin, and I totally understand. That bed is amazing. And these properties are offering perks. In the past, let's do a quick little comparison. In the past, the Disneyland hotels offered free activities, exercise classes to the hotel guests. I remember going with my mom and my husband to I think they called it stretch, but it was kind of like a mix, between stretch and yoga. And we did it inside California Adventure, like in the dark, like all cleaning crews and, the horticulturists are walking around like there's nobody. It was amazing. It was amazing. And it was free. That's not offered anymore. They took away that a long time ago. They still offer exercise classes at the Disneyland Hotel, all 3 of them, but you have to pay for them now. But at JW Marriott, 2 adults in a room can get a free yoga class every day of their stay at JW Marriott. I went to one when I stayed there. It was amazing. You can read about it on my website, disneyhotellady.com. Search JW Marriott. I wrote about it. It was a great class. I was the only one there. So it was like a private lesson. It was great. I loved it. At the Westin, my favorite, besides the bed, my favorite perk at the Westin is you can go down to the lobby to the concierge desk. And when I stayed, the price may have gone up, but when I stayed, $5 a day, just $5, and they gave you this like package, this set of percussion therapy devices, like the guns, massage guns. They had things you could pull over your legs, the ball that vibrates, all these things after a long day in the park, between the bed and the massage guns, massage devices. It was just like, it was heaven. It was heaven. Seriously. So there's one for the Westin. The Viv, both the JW Marriott and the Westin are within walking distance of Disneyland. So no worries about transportation there. The Viv is a little bit farther away. Now, for adults, the walk probably would not be bad, and um, you'd be fine. But with kids, the walk could be a little iffy because you have to cross some really major streets, some freeway exits. It might be hard on the kids. But the art bus stops right outside under the portico at the Viv. So you got your shuttle right there. And the Viv has bunk bedrooms. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous property. I can't wait to stay again. If anybody from the Viv is watching, you can read about this too, DisneyHotelLady.com, and search for the Viv. Our very first stay at the Viv did not go the smoothest. Um, like I said, you can read about it. I don't want to get into it now. It didn't go the smoothest, but we still loved the property. We still loved our room. I would still totally stay there again and recommend it. Um, I call it a new subgenre. It's family luxury because of how just the sheer amount of rooms with bunk beds, and the catering to a younger crowd, that you can find little details throughout the property. Um, yeah. uh, so then finally that brings me back down to Hyatt Regency Orange County. Now, as I said, Visit Anaheim did list them as a luxury property last year, but sometime when I checked last year until today, they've been removed. But I did just my review of the Hyatt Regency Orange County is my latest review on my website, DisneyHotelLady.com. And my conclusion about them was they have all the amenities of a luxury hotel. As far as amenities go, they fit. Now, where I hesitate is in the rooms themselves. Uh, the standard king and queen rooms have been renovated. So they are in the process of a major renovation. When I stayed, though, I did not get a standard king or queen room. We got a kids' suite, which was for us a king bed with a set of bunk beds in a separate room. And that room was not renovated, and it definitely showed its age. So I'm wondering if that could be the reason Visit Anaheim took them off the list. And perhaps once that renovation is complete, we'll find them on Visit Anaheim's luxury list again. Who knows? We'll see. Of course, again, my opinion and musings. I have no inside information from the Visit Anaheim organization. So, um, which of those hotels should you stay at? Uh, Depends. In my personal opinion, I would recommend the Viv and the Westin for people with kids. The Viv for especially like say 10 and under, that's your hotel. If you've got teenagers, they might do great at the Westin. I think the Westin is the way to go there. And a, a footnote, a footnote. If you have any dietary restrictions in your family, if any of your kiddos have dietary restrictions, the Westin might also be the way to go because they were fantastic, fantastic about addressing dietary restrictions. I saw labels everywhere at that property uh, for keto food, gluten-free food, low carb, high protein, all kinds of, you know, fitness minded and allergy friendly options. So if that's the boat that you're in, check out the Westin. Um, the JW Marriott, I highly recommend for couples, like if you're doing an anniversary trip or a girls' weekend or anything like that. I highly recommend the JW Marriott. However, also last year, after I had my stay, uh, they also added bunk bed rooms. So I have not been able to check those out yet. Hopefully one day. But that is an option you do have now at the JW Marriott. And the JW Marriott is connected to the Garden Walk, which is a little shopping area just kind of across and down the street from Disneyland. It's got places like McCormick and Schmick's, Cheesecake Factory, PF Chang's. There's a little store, and I forget the name of it right now, but it's absolutely adorable. It's in sort of like an Asian market, um, but like no food, but like there's a huge, huge costume selection there for adults and kids. So if you're looking for a costume, we are coming up on that time of year. You can find one in that little shop. I found my Duffy bag at that shop. Uh, it's the cutest little shop. There's a Starbucks. There's a couple other um, little places to eat. So, uh, another that if you're wanting a lot of dining options, uh, the JW Marriott is a great choice. And again, Hyatt Regency, I think once they complete their renovation, um, they're going to be a contender. Right now, I would say they're kind of in a growth spurt phase. Um, but again, going back to dining options, one of the best restaurants in Anaheim without footnotes, without qualifications, without anything is the Nova Kitchen. And that sits just outside of the Hyatt Regency Orange County. You can go park in their self-parking lot if you're not staying at the hotel, and the Nova Kitchen can validate you. And that's an Asian fusion, sushi bar. It's absolutely fantastic. I like seriously, it's on lists, people. It's on lists, like best of Anaheim. It's great. All right, so let's just review here. We talked about what the perk is that's going away, early entry. It's getting replaced with one lightning lane per person per stay. So if you've got a long stay, you're still only getting one lightning lane entry at any of the 3 Disneyland resorts, Grand Californian, Disneyland Hotel, or Pixar Place. And these changes take effect, pardon me, excuse me, take effect in January of 2026. Um that's the change. I think the luxury alternatives are fantastic, and you should really be checking those out. Um, Again, the Westin, the Viv, JW Marriott, and Hyatt Regency Orange County. Uh, I think possibly next year we'll be uh, seeing a paid option for early entry into Disneyland parks. I don't think any changes along these lines are coming to Florida. I think staying across the street now, one thing I am concerned about uh, is if across the street prices at these hotels will go up. I'm crossing my fingers that they stay the same. Um, but that is a concern of mine. Um, so we'll see how that goes. But across the street is a great option, or even, just down into just past Catella on Harbor. You can start getting some great deals, and it's still under a 10-minute walk. So uh, there's just fantastic off-property options in Anaheim. I know a lot of people are upset about the early entry leaving, including me, but that's more as a DVC owner at the new DVC part of the Disneyland Hotel. But really, there's so many great options for hotels in Anaheim that I think whatever amount, if you could even say Disney is losing business to these other hotels, that them they're not going to lose a lot more business, in my opinion, because people are already looking at off-property hotels. I'm wrapping up here, so if you have any questions I have not answered, please write them down. I'll try to answer them before we get off here. In the meantime, though, I have a special surprise for you. For those who've stuck it out this far. Uh, let's see here. I can't see. Oh, Casey says, I've stayed at the Sheraton that's near the parks twice. Nice staff, comfy beds, way less money. Another recommendation there then. I have not personally stayed at the Sheraton on Harbor just south of Catella there. But of course it is on my list. So, my special, if anyone's typing a question, please continue. My special surprise, if you've gotten to this part in the video, is I'm going to give you until midnight Pacific tonight to leave a comment on the YouTube version of this video, and I'm going to give away this little swag bag that we got when we went to D23 on the road, a Goofy movie a couple weeks ago. So it's just a little, like, it's this big, and you've got a little a Goofy movie map, and there are stickers in it to mark locations where Max and Goofy stopped. There's a little pennant flag for the Lester's Possum Park. There's a pin. It says Goofy Family Trip 95. If you can see that, I don't know if it's getting too blurry. There are some Powerline sunglasses. They have Goofy Movie 30th anniversary written on the arm, and a glow stick, and a power line backstage pass admission lanyard. So all of this to one lucky winner who leaves a comment on the YouTube version of this video before midnight tonight Pacific. Today again is August 25th, 2025. So if you're a Goofy movie fan, get on over to YouTube and find this video. I don't care what you comment. You can leave a smiley face for all I care. Just make sure you comment, and I will randomly pick a winner tomorrow and announce that on my Instagram page and my TikTok page. So, I don't see any questions. Hopefully, I have given you some good information. If I have, please hit like, subscribe, follow, etc. All the things. I hope to see you again. If you have any questions in the meantime, please never hesitate to reach out to me. I am always, always, always more than willing to help in any way I can with your hotel selection for any Disney trip. So once again, I am Stacy, your Disney hotel lady. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my website, DisneyHotelLady.com. Oh, also Threads. Until next time, stay comfy, hotel guests. Thanks for joining tonight.